Hi everybody, welcome back to Edit Design House. Today we are talking about bathroom remodels. So what goes into a bathroom remodel? How do you get from the really odd, cramped, funky before all the way to the beautiful, stunning after? We're going to talk through a few of the issues that we encounter when we're working on a remodel, and then some of the things that we work on to get it all the way up to speed to where we want it to be. So starting off, one of the big things we do is we identify the problem with the existing space. So perhaps we have funny things that are laid out. Maybe the tub, the shower, the toilet are all in the wrong place. Sometimes we have to realign those things. Sometimes we have funny closets or odd materials. How do the cabinets lay out? All of those things we're going to go in and assess the issues. Even sometimes older bathrooms are going to have countertops that are too low and aren't very functional. So that's the very first thing that we go in and we assess the problems. So starting off, we look at, is it cramped? Is there poor lighting? Could we have better grade tile? And is there a lack of storage? So not only do we want a bathroom to be functional, but we also want it to be beautiful. So we want to assess both of those things. The next thing that we're going to go and do is rework the layout. So we're going to go in, we always drop everything into AutoCAD. This is a drafting software we use where you put in all of the dimensions of everything, and we're going to assess whether the toilet, the tub / shower, and sinks are all where they want to be. So not only are we going to look at how the flow works in the space, but what's that first thing that you see when we walk into the front door? Ideally, when you open the door to the bathroom, you don't want to see the toilet facing you. We're hoping to see either the tub moment or the vanity moment. So we want it to be functional, but we also want it to be a really pleasant experience when you interact with the bathroom. And this is the same for every space in the house. So we're not just going in and trying to make things look pretty, but we want you to have the most positive experience possible with each of your spaces. So in the bathroom, we have one in particular that had a ton of different angles. It had funny closets. And when you walked into the house, it was almost an apology. Like this was the last space that was left in the house, and you kind of get what you're left with. And it had funny closets, funny doors, funny storage. Everything was really off about it. Even the way that the vanity didn't match the countertop and the tile and all of the things just felt like such an afterthought. So what's beautiful is we go in and we take those measurements and we figure out what can be pulled away. Without exception, everything in this room was pulled away. So we were left with the outside four walls of this space, and we totally shook up all of the different things. So vanities moved, tub moved, shower moved, all of the things moved, and we ended up with a really, really beautiful space because we were able to think about it with just the dimensions of those four perimeter walls, not having to worry about all the funny closets and different things that were involved. So not only did we pull away the cabinetry, but we pulled away some of the old finishes that were making the space feel really dated. The tile came off, the brassy, shiny gold that felt really dated came away. And what resulted was such a thoughtful, beautiful space. So we were able to turn this kind of afterthought space into something that had beautiful, thoughtful tile. The tile that we chose for the shower is a really cool linear looking wood that has kind of this new fresh vibe to it. And at the same time, it's not anything that's super trendy. It's really gentle and soft. It's interesting to look at, but it's going to last for a really long time so that this shower can be beautiful for a long time to come. And then we were able to use a little bit more traditional materials in this space. So we went with walnut when we were talking about the vanity, and we were able to mix and match some metals as well. So we love introducing some black, some gold, different things into this space to make it feel interesting. And with the mirrors and the countertop details, we were able to do some really beautiful details too, not just having square edges, but we were able to introduce some cool profiles that give you some interest. Even though everybody's seen a bathroom vanity before and you've seen a bathroom before, this just takes the cake as far as having it be more interesting than anything to look at. And one of my favorite parts of this is where the tub moment ends up. There's a really cool kind of niche where the house itself moves out, and because we didn't want to have to play with the outside of the house, we really took advantage of the shape of the bathroom and put the tub moment right there. We were able to hang a stunning chandelier there, and just the light and everything that comes in from that window right there is so exciting and so special, and it makes the bathroom feel really, really thoughtful. So overall, one of the things that's going to help everything feel a lot better is getting some good symmetry in the space. One of the things that really helped was getting some symmetry on the vanities. So we were able to add some storage, and we were also able to get kind of like a his and her side. So everybody's got their own space, but it all feels really, really cohesive. So our final thing that we always think about is that luxury level. So thinking about the lighting placement. Not only do we like to have big overhead lighting, but we like to have some accent lighting around a mirror. So if you're doing your hair and makeup and all of those things, you want to be able to have some lighting in there that's going to give you a proper accent to your face and help understand the shadows and different things you're dealing with. We love, when possible, having sconces on both sides of the mirror. Sometimes you don't have space for it, so you can just do an overhead vanity light, but we love, when possible, getting those sconces on either side, just because not only does it look pretty, but the light comes directly kind of at eye level. And that's going to help a lot when you're getting ready, making sure that you're giving yourself the best version of yourself for the day. So one thing that we love about design is not only is it a space that you live in, but it gives you this opportunity to turn around and live your best life because of all of the different things that your space gives to you. So lighting is a huge one. Another thing that we love is making sure that the mirrors are the appropriate size. So sometimes you're going to end up with a huge oversized mirror, which is okay. It's super functional. Or you're going to end up with something that's cute but really tiny. We love to be able to hit that sweet spot right in the middle where it's grand enough to see everything that you want to see. It's also interesting. It's also layered, and all of the details are there. One other thing that we love is being able to mix and match and work with the hardware, making sure that it's special and interesting and unique. It seems like a small detail, but hardware does go a long way in setting the stage for the character of a space. So we love giving some attention to the hardware. Also, if you're working on a current space in your house and you feel like it's kind of a letdown, hardware is actually one of those secret tricks where if you can just set aside a little bit of money to put in fresh hardware in the space, it's going to give you a ton of bang for your buck. So you might even say, gosh, this is kind of a lot, $15 for a piece of hardware, $7 or $30 for a piece of hardware. But typically when you're adding it up, thinking about the dramatic difference that an existing space can have just with the shift in hardware, it's a pretty small investment for the amount of difference that it can make. So be thinking about that, especially if you're doing a new space or if you're doing a major remodel. I think we kind of get to the end sometimes and you feel like maybe I don't want to spend any extra. I've already spent a lot on cabinetry. I've already spent a lot on countertops. I've already spent a lot on all of these other categories, but don't let it go on hardware. It's almost like a little jewelry piece. So it's going to be the thing people notice first. And in context to the whole budget, it's kind of a drop in the bucket. And I do think it's worth a little bit of extra investment to make sure that that's a special piece. So keep that in mind if you're going through a remodel or if you're shaking up an existing space. Hardware can be one that makes a really big change. And then another thing that makes a huge difference is the shower glass. So we're all familiar with that old style of having lots of metal rims on the glass. Again, that's a way more cost-effective way of designing a bathroom, and it's going to cost more doing like a frameless or a Euro glass. But again, that's one of those things that makes the space feel so special. So be really considerate. If there's somewhere you want to save, I would suggest saving somewhere else than the Euro glass, because that's going to give your shower a lot more of an open feeling. It's going to feel a lot more flawless and effortless, where you can see right inside to all those beautiful details inside the shower. So one final thing, which is kind of not the very final thing, it happens a little bit earlier in the process, but one thing that's really important to take note of is just making sure that you put appropriate attention into the cabinetry. Of course, there are options that are off the shelf and they're going to look nice and they're going to look tidy, but custom cabinetry really, really does go a long way. So if you have the budget for it, pull the trigger on the custom cabinetry, because it definitely carries the weight and the visual of the space. Things like paint color and artwork and decor can all change down the road, but cabinetry is one of those things that stays for a very long time. So if you have the budget for it and you have somebody helping you out, figuring out all of those beautiful details for the custom cabinetry, make it special. One other thing to recommend is when you're looking at off-the-shelf cabinetry, they tend to do a lot of profiles that are popular and trendy, and they look great. But one thing that you can do to help separate out your space from one that feels a little bit more off the shelf is intentionally choosing something with a unique profile. So I know sometimes we can feel a little bit nervous going away from what's common and what you're seeing, but please remember that if you go exactly to what's the trend, that's going to be something that tends to also go out of trend. So think about what you're going to like for the longevity of it. Do some study and research and find even things like how the trim pieces on the cabinetry go. Those things are going to go a long way in making it a really timeless space that you're going to love for a long time, rather than just something that's on trend right now and then the trend goes away and I don't like it down the road. Make sure that you pick something that speaks to you, because that's a good way of making sure that it stays effortless and timeless for a very long time. Thanks again for joining us on a little chat about bathroom remodels. This can make a big difference in your home. I think when you buy a new home or you're building a home, this feels like one of those areas that doesn't get the ability to get changed because it can feel really overwhelming. But in the case of this remodel, the beautiful thing about it is once you go in and you just pull out those layers, there's so much potential left in that room, and really those spaces can make such a big difference. We really believe that your primary bath should feel like a retreat and not an afterthought. Thanks again for joining us, you guys. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.